never know what's gonna break on the boat.
Yep, you never know.
And where you'll be.
Yeah, that's welcome to boat life.
We're Steph and Travis, Canadians who didn't know much about sailing. We didn't let that or a global pandemic stop us from living our dreams, and we've been winging it ever since. We took off from Toronto and made it to Grenada in year 1, and we've got no plans on stopping. Subscribe to join our life on the water. Thanks to our patrons who keep the dream going.
Just left the anchorage. Now we're heading around the corner to Jolly Harbour. Just a broad reach all the way down. Little rolly out here. Our freezer stopped working, so we're gonna have to try to figure that out.
We just arrived here in Jolly Harbour on the west side of Antigua, and it was only an hour sail away from the previous anchorage that we were at. We weren't gonna film, and of course we had a pretty cool experience, or a pretty interesting one I would say, coming out of the bay. So I guess, yeah, we should probably film everything, but sometimes we just don't turn on the camera and we just enjoy, especially if it's like a quick little sail. But anyway, as we were leaving the bay, it was 2 nautical miles out, and we actually got a fish on the line, and that was great because, you know us, we hardly ever get fish on the line. And Travis pulls it up, and of course it was bitten. We didn't even have the line really far back, so it didn't take him a long time to reel it in, but something had already got to it before we did.
Always does. If we catch something, it either breaks off the line, it's a barracuda, or something eats it.
Yeah. It was a yellowtail snapper, and as soon as he reeled it in, he was like, okay, I'm just gonna gut it.
You wonder what I'm doing. I'm trying to fix something here. So yeah, for some reason I never gut a fish or like check it out. I just kind of cut the gills and let it bleed out. But this one I was like, I'm not gonna fillet it for a while, so I'm gonna gut it. And as I was gutting it, I was like, something feels pretty hard in the stomach and pretty big. So I was like, I'm just gonna check it out. So I ripped open the stomach liner and pulled out the stomach to see what was in the stomach. And I found the piece of conch that I cut off. It's really funny that we caught the fish that ate our conch the night before. Like, I remember distinctly this little chunk of conch because I was trying to fish it out of the shell and I accidentally cut this distinct looking chunk.
And I was like, no, keep that one. I can use it, I can clean it up. And he hacked this corner and chucked it.
This fish had it in its stomach.
How big was that fish? It was decent size. We're not going to throw it back in.
Yeah, we'll do the ciguatera test though, because it's a reef fish.
Snapper? Yeah. They're always hanging around under our boat. So I'm not surprised because I did see them when snorkeling. But 2 nautical miles out of the bay, like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he could have just followed us. Could have been like hovering around the boat.
But that exact fish hooked on the line. Like, that's pretty wild.
That's what are the odds? We woke up this morning and our freezer was thawed. So I had to just do some tests, and I diagnosed our system here and realized that our condenser doesn't work anymore, which is that thing. Usually you can feel a vibration, like a slight vibration, but there's nothing. So the next is you take off the module. There's a series of tests. It's all actually online, pretty simple. So my conclusion is new condenser.
Our food isn't all thawed out yet, but it's definitely going to get there because the freezer says it's at -5 and it dropped 10 degrees overnight. So everything's still relatively frozen, but fortunately we have a little freezer box in our fridge. Things that are more important, I've shoved in that freezer box with the room that we have there, which normally gets pretty iced over really quickly if we have the fridge on too high. What we normally do to regulate that is we'll turn our fridge down at night every so often. We won't turn it completely off. Sometimes we will, depending on how much ice buildup there's been. But we'll usually just turn the fridge on the lowest setting so that all of the ice that's built up, usually around the ice box, will thaw out so that we don't have to do like a regular thawing of the fridge like we do with the freezer once a month or so. We definitely want to get this figured out as soon as possible so that we can empty out this freezer box, because I don't like keeping the fridge on full blast with ice crusting over everywhere, because eventually I'm not going to be able to open that freezer box. So while Travis is fixing something,
Yep.
I am going to go and try to fillet this fish. We're creative with how we get out. Don't want to step on anything that can break. Heave ho, out we go. Like, I feel like I'm just hacking it. The ripped parts are giving me a hard time here.
Even tarpon.
Whoa. He's going for those scraps. Pretty far out, nobody's swimming back here.
Oh, the little guy got it.
Putting that in your inner lip for about 20 seconds.
Yeah. Just a raw fish.
We used to do this test more in the Bahamas when we actually ate fish.
Yeah.
And then if all is good, you should not get a numbing sensation
Yeah.
a few minutes later.
Ideally.
If you do, we're gonna chuck the fish.
Just wait. It could take several minutes to like sort of kick in. Depends on how your blood's flowing.
Okay, while you're finishing up with that, I'll get some water to... This one?
Yeah. Watch the knife right here, Steph.
Where? Okay. You got a good amount of meat out of that fish, despite it being chewed on a bit. Made it a little bit harder to process, but we're gonna put this away and save it for dinner tonight.
So this budget doesn't have what we need. They don't have any refrigeration units of anything. So, and everywhere I've been, budget always have had something, refrigeration. So Steph's just on the phone now and she's calling the other budget.
Marine.
The other budget.
I'm just on hold, he's gonna check.
It'd be nice to be in North America and easily get things.
He said that it's available by special order only, and they bring it in by sea 10 to 12 business days. I don't know if there's additional costs associated with it, but
Well,
I don't think we would wait 10 to 12 days. We'd probably be at the next island by then, if anything.
yeah, 10 to 12 days we'll be, our food will be done in there and we'll be moving on. There might be like an electrician mechanic guy that deals with that stuff. He might have extra condensers anyways, because that's what his main business is. So go over to the boatyard and check.
We did see online that there was a refrigeration and air store back around the other side of the island where we were. It's funny how we move over, the stuff is at the other side where we just were.
I know, that's how it works. It's funny, actually, on the back of the gas station, there was like this, I don't know, block, this concrete block, and there was a whole bunch of condensers, like old used crappy condensers sitting on the back of this gas station.
But we didn't need it then. You never know what's gonna break on the boat.
Yep, you never know.
And where you'll be.
Yeah, that's welcome to boat life.
It's half the fun of it. If it was as easy to just find anything like you can in North America. If anything, it might be that electrical place, but they're closed.
Making my favorite. Just kind of drying the fish.
Then we made a batter here. And we're gonna deep fry them for some fish bites. And we got potatoes in the oven. Travis, you're gonna cook this?
It's unhealthy.
We don't get this often.
I
don't
cook
catch fish often.
Yeah, we do not catch fish off. We probably should have made like a fancy fish dinner with it, but I've been craving deep fried fish for a little bit now. So, going greasy. It's my turn. We got to do deep fried fish and baked potatoes.
So we have the potatoes in the oven, and we have a batter here for the fish. You've just patted them down dry, and then we're gonna dip it in the flour first, and then dip it in that.
This is good. I've always seen those fish around the reefs. I'm like, I wonder if they're tasty or not. They're tasty.
Snapper's always good, I think. I must say that the cruising community here in Antigua and the boatyard staff have been most helpful. After we had no luck trying to find somebody at one of the workshops in the boatyard, I reached out to the cruising community on Facebook to see if anybody had a contact they could refer us to that might be able to help us with our refrigeration issue. And a lot of people did refer us back to this one individual in the boatyard who just so happened to not be there when we went the other day. So we went back yesterday, and he got another person on the phone who he thought might have a spare module controller that he could bring over for us just to test it out and see if that was the issue and have a look at it for us. And I know Travis was 90% sure that the issue was with the compressor, which are not known to go, and the guy at the boatyard was like, no, those are a 1 in 2 million chance. But we thought, you know, anything's possible after the conch in the fish whole thing. And the fact that he went through the NovaCool diagnosis chart, did all the testing as per the steps, and it all led down to contact NovaCool, you need a new compressor. So we really thought that was the issue. And we went back to the boat. Didn't even dawn on us that we have 2 units. We have the freezer, which went, and we have the refrigeration. And in the fridge, we have a module there. So he just swapped the module from the fridge over to the freezer. We flicked on the switch and started humming, started working. So yeah, it ended up being the module. And it just so happened that the guy that's going to come this morning has a spare module. So Travis is over there at the marina now going to meet him, and we're hoping, fingers crossed, that this module works in our unit, and that'll be that. Just waiting for him to come back with some good news. Hooray!
Oh, sweet. So we probably found one of the few guys on the island that actually had this control module right here. Hopefully it's good. It's made in Italy, so should be good, but
Doesn't have like any heat vents, but it turns our freezer on, and that's what we need right now. So it's perfect. So good stuff. It's working.
So you're gonna go back and tell him that it's good and then pay him?
Yep. I'll go back, tell him it's good, and then give him his money. Just actually have to go like 5 miles an hour, or 5 miles an hour through the whole bay, and it's like takes quite some time. So he's probably just sitting there, so I gotta go.
So you're like, is he coming back?
Yeah, I just gave him some. He'll be good.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you've ever found something interesting in one of your catches, let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next Friday.